Hello and welcome to the season finale of 360 Vision. I'm your host, Yelena Mihailovich. Those stories plus commentator Barry Zwicker's report card on the media. And religious etiquette guide Kevin O'Keefe learns the nature of a Wiccan ritual. But we begin with today's first look. In the past, a church, a mosque, or a temple would be built to serve an already existing community. But that's changing. In some Canadian cities, religious groups are building houses of worship first to attract developers and homebuyers from a specific faith. In today's first look, 360 Vision's Heidi Westfield profiles one of these new faith-based developments.
It's the pride of Canada's Ahmadiyya Muslim community, a busy mosque that on this Friday has attracted hundreds of worshippers for afternoon prayers. Looking at the numbers here, it's hard to believe that 10 years ago, the Baitul Islam Mosque was barely used.
We were looking for a piece of land which was a little larger parcel and somewhat in the central location in relation to GTA. When the mosque was built in '92, it was still sitting in the middle of cornfield and tomato fields. It looked beautiful, but the users were very far and few between. If I would say that the mosque was being used maybe 10% of its capacity at the time.
The backdrop that makes this mosque so striking is also what makes it so inaccessible. Vaughan is about an hour's drive from Toronto. At the time, hard to get to.
You know, we have done a mosque, a beautiful mosque. The users are not close by. Big problem was the transportation, no public transportation. People who had cars, they could come, but people who were using public transit, they had difficulties. This is where it all began.
But instead of giving up, Nasir Ahmad helped spearhead a campaign to build a community around the mosque, a blueprint for a community of faith, complete with street signs reflecting the history and the people of the Ahmadiyya movement.
The idea was very brand new at the time. Nothing of this sort had ever been executed previously. That you do or you promote a subdivision based on the commonality of faith. Some of the fears they had was, would it be a good idea to create a neighborhood too homogeneous? Would it be a good idea to be living so close to each other when everybody knows everybody? Property values, would they increase or decrease? Can we find buyers for our homes if they wanted to sell later on?
Despite those issues, the project moved forward, but slowly. It took a while to convince banks and builders to support the development.
I had to go out and do speeches in community meetings. The president of the community had to do a lot of speeches. We had to help people out in terms of mortgage arrangements. The banks were a little leery about it, that, you know, within one community putting all the risk. The builders were very kind of nervous. Is it a good idea to give the whole subdivision to one community?
I'll give your baby sister a kiss.
Asif Khan and his wife Tanya were one of the first to buy into the concept. They moved into a home in Peace Village 3 years ago.
It's very unique. It's very comfortable in terms of you tend to know not only your neighbors but the whole street. And you know, you always hear of way back when walking down the street and people saying hello or good morning to one another and smiling, and that doesn't always exist. Well, it definitely exists in this community.
The mosque that was once so hard to get to is now just a short walk away for many.
Having the mosque centered around the children's lives obviously reinforces the teachings that are taught in the house, and it's a reminder. So I think it's only a benefit, an additional benefit to the household teaching.
The mosque, once hardly used, is now used at 80 to 90% capacity.
It was so important that the place I work was about 10 minutes drive I lived, but now it's about 20 minutes drive. But I still prefer to be here for the sake of my children.
I've made so many friends here, and it's really nice. I come to prayer every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It's like just one family.
But being part of a tight community can have its drawbacks.
You know, news tends to travel a lot quicker, right?
Bad and the good.
The bad and the good. And
Gossipy, yeah.
you kind of feel like sometimes you're being not watched, but you know, people will look out naturally. So they'll look out for the good and the bad. But overall, it's very, very positive.
The threat of being too insular is always there, but they try to deal with that by opening Peace Village to non-Muslims and by holding seminars to introduce people to the Muslim faith.
Having a community structured the way it is around a mosque, especially as Muslims, I think has been a wonderful opportunity to break down sometimes the negative stereotypes that Muslims may have, and especially with recent events. We hold various symposiums and question and answer sessions at the mosque. Just also having a mosque in all the homes around and seeing people walk to and from prayer, people become naturally interested, people become curious.
Near the corner of Mosque Gate and Ahmadiyya Avenue is the entrance to Peace Village. It's a reminder that sometimes if you build it, they will come.
Here they are learning both ways. They are learning the Western education system, a secular system, but at the same time they are participating in their culture and their values and their religion. They are coming up with a very nice balanced approach to life, basically, of living in harmony with other cultures, while at the same time preserving their own.
This isn't just a Toronto area phenomenon. The Ahmadiyya community is planning future developments in Ottawa, Calgary, and other Canadian cities.